to BibleGistWithEwurabena. I believe you're doing great by the mercies of God. And today, as you can see, I'm not alone. I'm here with a very special sister of mine, a very great woman of God that I admire so much. Today will be episode 3 of Bible Just with a Rabna. And I'm sure by now you know the topic that we'll be talking about today. So I'll just give her a few minutes to introduce herself and we'll get right into the video. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, Mary. Hi, guys. Hi, family, as she says. My name is Natalie Asamoah, and I am a child of God. So
Period. That's
I can't wait.
it.
The title is very spicy. I can't wait to get into it. So let's go.
Yeah, so I'm sure by now you know the topic that we'll be talking about today is that difference between believing in God and fearing God. So Natalie, this topic I saw it on social media. I think one of these days I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw some people talking about it and I thought you'll be the best person to talk about this with. So like to start off, what do you think believing in God is? Let's first start with the foundation. What do you think believing in God is and the difference between believing in God and fearing God?
Okay. So I do think that believing in God is just merely acknowledging that He exists, right? Of His existence. You're saying that, yes, I believe God, there is a God, or I believe God, He's the supreme being. I believe that He's the only one and true God. But that's just it. Like there's nothing more to it. It doesn't mean that you're going to live according to His standards. But fearing God is the reverence that we have for God, right? In other words, it's the respect that we have for God. It's the fear we have for God. Now, fear is not the same as the fear that the Bible talks about that He hasn't given us. Not that fear. We're talking about the fear of the Lord, right? The reverence, the respect you have for Him, such that you don't do certain things, right? And then I think that one way that we want to know or we can see if we fear the Lord is if we're obedient to His word,
Yes.
right? If you fear the Lord, you can't do certain things. You're like, I am too scared of God to do this thing because I am scared of the wrath that will come on me, or I'm scared of how it will make me look before Him and not before man.
Yeah, so to add on, when we say believing in God, so like just like you said, like acknowledging God that He exists, and even if like Hebrews 11 verse 6 says, because anyone who comes to Him must believe both that He exists and that He cares enough to respond to those who seek Him. So it doesn't just end that you just believing like in Him. It's also you knowing that whenever you go to Him, He will answer. Believing is the foundation of our Christian journey, and I believe it starts with the salvation prayer. Because in the word it says, if you confess with thy mouth and believe in thy heart that Jesus Christ is Lord, then you will be saved. So it's not just you confessing with your mouth; it's also like you believing in it's you believing in God that He. Now, when we talk about the fear of God, I feel like to don't believers, if it means something totally different. So to them, it's like, oh, you guys say God is love, so why should I fear Him? Like, what do you think about that?
So you're totally right. I've also heard things where people say like God is our father, but why? But then they say fear the Lord. So why should I be scared to come to my father? Also, people say that God encourages us to bring everything to Him, right? People say bring everything to God, your relationship, your body, everything, bring it to God. But then again, they're telling us to fear Him. How am I able to bring it to Him? Guys, it's not the same thing.
Because even me personally, when I was like, I wasn't really like a Christian, like it's like before I didn't really know Jesus. When I heard like you have to fear the Lord, I was like, fear God. But I thought like you guys are saying, oh, He's love and all of that. Like, why should I
Why
fear
should we
Him?
fear Him? It's not the same thing, guys. When we say fear of the Lord, it means respect. It means have respect for Him. It means revere Him. It means that be in awe of Him such that you don't do certain things. You're too scared to do certain things because you know that it doesn't go according to what God
His
says.
ways.
It's not in accordance with His word or His principles. So you fear that about Him. You respect God so much that you don't do things that He doesn't approve of. It's like respecting a prestigious person, right? Like the president. If you're going to meet the president, you have so much respect for him that you're not going to wear certain clothes. You're going to speak a certain way, and you're going to act a certain way only because you respect him. So that's what we're talking about when we say the fear of the Lord. We're not talking about the spirit of fear.
So I would say it's also more of like the honor you place before God. Like you said, you wouldn't go to God. I mean, you wouldn't go to a prestigious person like dressed anyhow. But like today in our like churches and all of that, sometimes you see some. I'm part of it. Sometimes you see some outfits in churches and you be like, "Ha, like do you even fear God? Like do you fear God? Like do you have the fear of God in you?" Now going back to believing in God, as I said earlier, is the start of our Christian journey, is the main foundation. So it has to move from you believing in God to you fearing God. But what most of us tend to do is we start with believing in God, but we don't move from that journey to the next one, which is the
We
fearing
end
God,
right there.
and we ended there. And the perfect example is the Israelites. Their story is just like
It's
one whole like
crazy.
crazy story. Like
And it describes us. Like it describes us.
it
Sometimes,
describes the church today.
yeah, I read it and I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I do that.
Cause they
I
know
do
they
that.
know they know God exists. They know their God. But then again, it's like they don't have this fear in Him. Like they sometimes they doubt Him. Like
It's crazy
I don't
because
understand
look at
them
what God went through to get them out.
after the 10 plagues and
That
all
is
everything.
crazy. All that 10
This
plagues. And
this
even the parting of the Red Sea, guys.
at least right, at least if you didn't
If
acknowledge
you
the
didn't believe the 10,
10 plagues, believe in the pardon of the Red Sea. Like how like
and
eh,
even how he okay, well they were hungry. They were like, oh, we want to go back. At least we were slaves, but we got food.
but like you
And
should
he
know.
gave you manna. He gave you water. Everything you wanted.
But like, I mean, the complaining started before the manna thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were hungry. But like me personally, I was thinking, if he was able to part the Red Sea, like he was able to cross nature, like when we look at nature, you can.
You
There's no way
cannot
you can like
part the
part
sea.
sea. But he was able to do that. And after all this, they were like, oh, why didn't you leave? He was like, they were complaining to Moses, oh, why didn't you leave us in
They
Egypt
wanted
and
to
let
go
us
back
suffer?
in
Like, I'm
bondage.
like, what
Yeah.
the
They wanted to go back in bondage.
yo? So
And that's a perfect example of believing in God,
God,
right? They believed in him. They knew that there was a God because yes, look at the 10 plagues. Yes, look at who parted the Red
you
Sea
see,
for us to go through. They believed in him. However, they didn't have the fear of the Lord in
nah.
him because the things that they were doing, going as far as even bringing all their jewels together and then creating this
The money he
golden
gave
cup.
you, the money, it's funny. It's even the money that God gave you.
I don't want to admonish them because sometimes that's
No, like,
silly.
but like, it's funny how in our churches today, that's how we literally like the Israelites.
No, that's
We
how we
all we
are.
are like God will. It's even
Do
like in
everything
the
for
US,
us
like you
and
know how
then
some people just come from like we all came from Ghana, like
yeah,
different places here. Like God literally brought you into a whole land, and you think He's gonna leave you or forsake you. Oh, He did one miracle for you, and now
he
because
stopped.
you wanted something and you didn't get it at that exact time. Also, you think He's not
He
like
has
God,
left you.
something like
He has
so.
forsaken you.
Yeah,
No.
like and a perfect example of someone that believed in God and also feared God. I love Joseph.
Oh my
He's
God.
a perfect like example for me. And his story is in Genesis
39.
39.
Yeah.
His own. Would you want to start with that?
Yes. Just because. Um Joseph, he believed he's a perfect example. As she said, he's a perfect example of believing in God and fearing him. I'm just gonna talk about the fearing God part because um before I say anything, I want to say the difference between being morally good
Yes.
and then living
Yes.
for God. Those are two different things. Okay, somebody can be morally good. That means they're upright, they're empathetic, they're compassionate, they're tolerant, they're all of these things morally good.
Mm,
And then there's somebody else that does it from the perspective that God asks us to do it.
yes.
I'm doing this thing because those are the fruits of the spirits,
Yes.
right? So
It's like
let
literally like God or nothing. Like
Mhm.
mhm.
Like when you do those things, God is the excuse. It's not because it's right for you to do, or that's what humanity demands of us. That's not what it is, right?
And that's exactly what Joseph did. Like when Potiphar's wife came to him that and you know what beginning I thought it was a one-time thing.
It was
he
3 times.
he came. I don't even know, fun, it was amazing how it was yesterday that I got to find out that it wasn't a one-time thing. Sometimes we read our Bible, we don't really pay attention. It was yesterday that I got to find out it wasn't a one-time thing. She came to
She
him
had
off like back and
a
forth,
lot of
and
times.
all the time Joseph told her, "No, I can't do this,
No.
not even because of my boss." And it's amazing how when Joseph was sold to the Egyptians as slave, God favored Joseph in the eyes of the Egyptians. So the boss favored like Joseph in everything that he was doing. He made him, I think, a leader of the slave or something.
Yeah.
And like in today's world, we will say, "Oh, I can't even do this with like I can't do this to sin against my boss because he after all he's the one that
He
helped me."
has taken care of me. You see
He
why I brought
overlooked that. He overlooked that. Oh, he's the one that helped me. I think like in his mind he was probably saying, "Ah, after it's not him. It was God that touched your heart to help me.
to help me.
It's not
It's
even
not really
you.
you.
It's not you. It's God that favored me."
I think that we should say the story because
Yeah.
what if people don't know that
Okay.
part?
So the
So,
whole go ahead.
so we all know the story about Joseph and Potiphar's wife, right? He wanted to have sex with her the first time, he declined. The second time, he declined. The third time, he said that, oh, I cannot do this to sin against God. Now
That part.
listen,
That part.
listen.
That part.
Joseph was in this man's house. The Bible says that Joseph found favor in the eyes of the man. The man put him in charge of everything. Joseph could have easily said that I'm not doing this because your husband has been too good to me.
He
That's
just
what I was talking about, be morally good.
good. Yeah.
Okay, he said that I cannot do this to sin
It's
against
my
God.
God.
That's what fear of the
God
Lord
means
is.
like
That's what it is. Okay, it's doing something or not doing something because it doesn't go in accordance with what God says.
yes.
If you want to know if you fear the Lord, just look at obedience. Like, are you obeying His word? Obedience is how we can check if we have the fear of the Lord. Are you obeying His word? Well, God says that do not commit adultery, no fornication, and whatever the Bible says. He's like, no, I can't do this to sin against
Yes,
God.
my
So he
God.
left. He left.
He didn't even acknowledge the boss. He was like, he
It's
was
not
not.
about this man.
It's not
No.
about him. It's about pleasing God. It's not like even about him. Oh, he even thinks that he knows that it wasn't even by his will the
The
boss will. He know it was God that
put him there.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So that's what the fear of the Lord is, as we're saying that when you're living your life, don't do it because so when somebody's living their life and they're saying that, oh, I'm being good because it's right for me to be good, or I'm being good because humanity demands that of me. That's not what the fear of the Lord is. It's doing it because that's what is right in the eyes of God. Like that's what God demands
of
of
you,
us.
yes. And I think I was reading the story of Abraham too yesterday, and Abraham to it's funny how it's the same descendants like from Abraham to Isaac to those
Oh
people like
yeah.
it's the same family like pardon. So I was reading the story of Abraham yesterday and I came across when like he literally believes in God so much that, like whatever God tells him to do, no questions, he will do it. That's somebody that fears the Lord. Like it's whatever, yes sir. Like when you read the Bible, I think some of the place like I think in message translation or something, when God calls him, he said, "Yes, master." Me, I'm like, like when he calls, you just respond like he does whatever. And when God told him that, oh, sacrifice your son for me, like
Can you imagine
that's your only
waiting
son,
all these years to have a child?
your only son, and he tells you that sacrifice your son for
He
me.
didn't complain.
He didn't ask a question like,
Nothing.
why do you want me to? We'll be like, God, he gave me this, and why do you want me to like blah blah blah?
He
He
just called the son. He's like, "Come on,
just go.
let's go."
Oh yeah, let's go.
Son didn't even know what was going on.
The son even asked the question like,
He was like,
Father,
"Were you about
there's
to?"
a rope here, there's a knife here. Where's the lamb that we are going to sacrifice? He
He
said,
said,
when
"Lay
we get
down."
there, he said, when we get there, God will provide the lamb. I'm like, is it like it's funny that he has so much faith in him, he has so much belief in him. Because when they were going, he was going with like with his servants. He told them, wait here and let me and my son are like we're going to make a sacrifice to the Lord. We'll be back. So he knew there was no way.
I didn't even catch that,
There was
guys.
no way that God will like kill his
Kill
son.
his
He knew
son.
like there's an like alternative for God. Like
Deep, deep.
so like
That
this
was
story
yeah.
too like also like talks about you believing in God and moving from believing in God to fearing God.
So, bringing whatever we have talked about to today's world, we're saying that it's very imperative for you to believe in God. As she has said more than once in this video, believing in God is the beginning, right, of our Christian journey with God. It's very imperative that we believe in God in our hearts, right? But don't end there. And so we need to be able to have the fear of the Lord to be able to progress, right? It says that when we believe in Him, we're new creations. We have come to Him. We don't stay as we are. We change. We evolve. We
Yes,
transform.
yes,
And how do we transform? By reading His Word,
yes.
right? And so somebody watching this video will say, I believe in God, but I don't think I have the fear yet.
But trust
How
me,
do
some
I
of
get
us
the
don't
fear
have
of
the
the
fear.
So, Mary, how do you think that we can begin to have the fear of the Lord? How do you think we can even grow that fear?
Honestly, I feel like it's whatever you're doing, just have like, I'm doing this for God. It's like it's him or nothing else. Like just it's I know sometimes we do it like unintentionally. But like now I feel like we can be intentional with it. Like
We
whatever
should.
you're doing,
We should.
it is God or nothing. I'm doing
Honestly,
this. I'll just say like be like Joseph, because like put God first. It's God or nothing. With him, he didn't like he overlooked his boss helping him, like favoring, like doing, like he just put God first. He said, how can I do this and sin against my God? So it's like in our daily life you can be intentional with it, because sometimes we do these things unintentionally. We like sometimes we do, me personally, sometimes I do something, I'm like, did you really say this, like did you really do this? We do it like unintentionally. So now you can like be intentional with it. Even in the Bible, somewhere in Matthew, I think Jesus was telling the disciples that whatever you do, like whatever you do, let people see your good works and give glory to the Father. So whatever you're doing, it is God's the Lord's glory that you're like, whatever you're doing, you just want to glorify the
do it
Lord,
to
and
the
yeah,
glory of
whatever
the
you're
Lord.
doing, yeah.
Yes.
So be intentional with it, is that now it, like from now onwards, whatever I do is just to glorify the Lord. So I'll just say that. Well, like, what do you think?
Yeah, that's very good. Being intentional about your walk with God. Guys, it doesn't come naturally, okay? The
Be
the body doesn't
intentional.
want, the
Mm-mm.
flesh doesn't want you to do these things that please God. So you have to be intentional about it. What I would say though is that definitely pray, but be in a place of learning. What I'm saying is that get to know God. And the way that you can get to know God is to read His Word.
Yeah.
Constantly be there, be learning, because the only way that you would be able to fear the Lord or obey Him if you know what to
Yes.
obey. If you don't know
You
what
don't
God
know.
is saying, you
Yeah.
don't know
Hmm.
what you have to obey, right? So be in a place of studying. Is that right?
You are, because
But you should learn, right? Read the Bible, try to
know the
know
nature of
who
God. I
God
think
is.
Psalm is it 71 talks about, I think something Psalm 91 or is it 91 talks about the nature. I think somewhere in Psalm, I'll put the Bible verse in the caption. I mean, in the description. So somewhere in Psalm talks about the nature of God. You can start with that. You can like learn the nature of God, and yeah,
Yeah. And then you can even learn about Jesus through the New Testament. You learn about the things that he says, the things that he asks of us. The letters that Paul was writing to the churches, it also teaches us what we
Apostle
need
Paul
to do.
wasn't playing. Like,
He was like telling us what we as Christians need to do,
yes,
right? And so if you are in a place where you're saying that I don't think I have the fear, don't worry, guys. We're
be
here for
intentional.
you.
Yeah, be
And
intentional.
start reading the Bible, start getting to know God, start getting into the nitty gritty of who God is and what He would do. And that's how you're able to have fear for Him,
And
right?
also surround yourself with people that fear the Lord. Surround yourself with like, because it all depends on your circle
Deep,
of friends.
deep,
You
deep,
like
deep.
you hang out with people that like make silly comment, like makes like do some silly stuff that you know deep down it's not
That's
of the
not
Lord.
Lord.
Because for me, like almost all my friends are Christians. So even when like there are things that I'm doing that I like I'm backsliding, they are there to like kind of like bring me up. And
Yeah. And also, they give you godly counsel, right? Or like sometimes I'm going through something, right? I remember a situation, I was telling her something happened to me and I was so embarrassed. And she was like, hey, girl, don't be embarrassed. Like I told her, she said, don't be embarrassed because this is what the enemy does. He used to
yes,
make you embarrassed and then push you back away from God, push you back away from your purpose. So it's very important for you to surround yourself with these people. They will
yes.
encourage you, they'll put you on your toes to be able to do what you have to.
So I hope we're able to differentiate between believing in God and fearing God. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And she also has a YouTube channel,
I
guys.
created one, guys. It's called Simply Natalie. So yeah, look me up. I'll be the
I'll
first
put it in the
person.
description. So guys, go subscribe, like, comment, and tell her I love her in the comment section.
And let me know if you're from her channel.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And guys, thank you for me.
Thank you
It
guys
was
so
hard
much.
bringing her here. It was hard. Get her in the comment section. It was hard bringing her here. Thank you guys. Thank you, Natalie, for coming on my channel
No
today.
problem. It's
And
my pleasure.
hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.